So, hello, I'm Carol Cervelli. I'm the director here at Fairport Harbor Public Library, and this year we are celebrating our 100th anniversary, our centennial. And this past week we had dignitaries from all over the county and the state come to the library and present us with proclamations and speak about how they thought the library benefited our community. The library itself was founded in 1922, so 100 years ago, by the superintendent of Fairport Schools. His name was M.C. Helm. He thought that the community needed a public library, and he found space in the elementary school in a storage closet that he cleared out, and he ordered 1,000 books from the state library and started a library in the school that was open to both the school and the public. And it has been that way for 100 years. So our library is not only a community library, we also serve as the school library as well. In 1924, the library board was officially organized with 7 members, and it's still that way today. And in 1934, the building that we are presently housed in was built by the school district. So we have always been housed in a building owned by the school district, and we have always provided library services for the school district, even though we are a public library. And that makes us fairly unique in the state of Ohio. What else?
Yes, so can you tell us some of the services that the library provides here?
Sure. Currently, we provide services, again, to patrons of all ages. Originally, the library was open to the school during the day and the public in the evening. But probably since the late 60s, the library has been open all hours for everybody, for the public and the schools. So we have traffic coming in all day long from the community and also from the school, and we serve both at the same time. We provide computers for people to use who may not have computers at home. We have Wi-Fi access 24/7, so even outside the building, after the library's closed, people can access the Wi-Fi, usually from outside in the front in the benches or out in the parking lot. We provide programs for children, such as story time, art club, math club. We provide activities and clubs for the teens. We have an anime club, a D&D group. We even have a group that meets to have tea once a month. So, and that was a group that the teens themselves kind of created. So, and one of our favorite things is one of the, I shouldn't say favorite things, but one of the things we provide is a safe space for the teens to come during the school day and after school, where they can not only do research and homework, but just hang out and be together and know that they will be accepted, their thoughts and ideas will be accepted, and it's a very welcoming and comforting space for them to be during the day. And our teen librarian has created a wonderful space for them to be themselves, where that's not always a possibility elsewhere in the community. So we provide services to the senior center. We go over there once a month to provide a book group. We take books to the laundromat, so anybody who can't make it to the library during the day can pick up just some free books at the laundromat. We also provide books to some of the bed and breakfasts, and the Welcome Wagon organization will provide free books around the community to people who can't make it into the library. What else? So obviously, we answer people's questions all day long. That's pretty much a given. But some of the unique things we have at the library, we call it our Library of Things. They're non-traditional items that you can check out from the library. We have cake pans if you want to bake a cake. We have the driving cone, so if you're learning to drive and getting your license and you have to practice maneuverability, we have the cones and the poles that you can set up in the parking lot and practice your maneuverability. We have basketballs that you can check out and take out in the back parking lot where the basketball hoops are. We have board games, puzzles, even things for arts and crafts. If you're wrapping a lot of gifts and need to make bows and are rubbish at making bows like me, we have even a thing called a bow maker, which will help you wind and wrap a beautiful bow for packages. So there's a lot of things we have in the library that aren't things that you would traditionally think of as being in the libraries. We have top of books and movies and music CDs and things like that. We also carry the non-traditional items. For our children, we have activity kits that you can check out, and most of them are STEAM-based, science, technology, arts, and they are kits that you can take home and work on these activities with your children at home. And they're very popular, and we got those with a grant from a very generous community member whose family also donated the money to build our children's reading garden over in the children's area. So they are one of our greatest benefactors, the Daly family. And they continue to help us provide materials and services and things for children that promotes literacy. Any other questions?
Really,
yeah.
How many items are in circulation?
Oh, gosh, in circulation. Well, checked out right now or check outable?
Yeah, ability to be checked out.
Check outable. I believe our collection is around 30 or 40,000 items right now. Yeah. Wait. New things come in and old things go out, but
right.
I think it's around 30 or 40,000 right now.
We're a CleveNet library, so can you tell us what that means?
Sure. We have been a CleveNet library since 1997. We were one of the first libraries in Lake County to join CleveNet. CleveNet is basically a computer database started by Cleveland Public Library to automate their library collection. So instead of the old card catalog drawers where you had to look up items, they had this computer database where you can look up items online on a web-based application. Many libraries in the Cleveland area wanted to be part of that. And as it grew, we also grew the ability to access the collections of all these neighboring libraries. So the computer system joins just about every library in Northeast Ohio together where we can see what each library owns and we can borrow items from those libraries. So even though Fairport is one of the smallest libraries in the area, it gives us the ability to be just as big as Cleveland Public Library, Cuyahoga County Library, Sandusky, Conneaut, some of the larger libraries, Mentor. We can access the materials from all of those libraries and bring them in for our patrons. So if it's something we don't own, we can get it from one of the other libraries, usually within a week or two. Because we also participate in a delivery system that is run by the State Library of Ohio that stops at each library every day and picks up and delivers materials from all the other libraries across the state. So between those two entities, between CleveNet and the State Library, we can access materials and have them delivered here within a week or two. As we were planning our 100th anniversary event, we started going through the archives in the library, some of the really old documents and books and souvenirs, really, from the past. And some things that I found was the original borrower's register. And back before computers, when people would get a library card, their name would be written down in the book along with their library card number. So, and just the beautiful handwriting. And they had to sign their name and get their library card. And this goes from 1929 up to about 1941. And after that, it was pages typed and put into a binder. So this is one of the few that's actually handwritten with the beautiful old handwriting. And some of the names in here are still some families that still live in the Fairport area. So it's nice to look back and see somebody's great-grandmother or great-great-grandmother or somebody who had a library card and used the library 100 years ago. Yeah, and see some of the issues that were there concerning the library back then that we still deal with now, even 100 years later. And then the other best thing we found are some library scrapbooks, and these were from the 1950s up through the mid-1970s. We have several of these scrapbooks, and a lot of them aren't just pictures of the library, but newspaper articles that somebody saved from things happening in the community. So somebody may have gotten married, and unfortunately, they were glued, and a lot of the glue is falling apart. So something we would like to do is find a way to scan these in and archive them and preserve them because they are getting old and brittle and falling apart. But here's an article just about the name behind Harvey High School. Why? And it has nothing to do with Fairport, but it's still local history. And so somebody really took the time to, save these from all the newspapers and cut them out and glue them in. And it's just an interesting look back at not just Fairport, but at Lake County. And these are always, open for anybody to come look at. We keep them in a safe place, not climate controlled, but, hopefully in a safe place where they won't get damaged. But anybody in the community is always welcome to come and ask for them so they can look through them. Saturday, when we had our reception, we had several dignitaries from our local governments who came and presented us with recognition of the work that the library does. And County Commissioner John Plechnik came and presented us with that resolution. Congressman Joyce wasn't able to make it himself, but he did send us a very lovely letter and a certificate and a proclamation, and also a flag that was hung over the U.S. House. So they flew the flag and sent us the actual flag with a certificate saying that, we don't have our own flagpole at the library, so we'll have to find a different way to display it, but we do have that. This is from State Senator Kenny Yuko. This is beautiful citation from the General Assembly. And Representative Troy also sent us a resolution, and he told us that this is significant because this was actually read on the floor of the House, and the text of it and the significance of it will be noted in the official record of what was said on the House floor. Normally when they do citations, they just write them and print them and deliver them, but it's not always something that's presented right to all the members of the House. So this is actually going to be in the official record forever. Yeah.
Not that you have to read all of it. What does it say?
I'll read the last part. That the members of the House of Representatives of the 134th General Assembly congratulate Fairport Harbor on its 100th anniversary and extend best wishes for continued success. So,
very nice.
Yeah. So, and we have these all on display around the library, so if anybody wants to come and read them. We also got one from the Fairport Village Council and the Lake County Commissioners and things like that. So we have, and the State Library of Ohio. So we have several of these lovely gifts that they were able to send to us and present to us to celebrate our 100th anniversary. We are a little bit younger. Madison has already celebrated, I believe, their 150th. And I believe Mentor and Painesville both recently celebrated 150th. Perry, I believe, is getting close to 100. So I think that they were a few, almost right around the 30s, 1929, something like that. So they'll be celebrating their 100th very soon. I'm not sure about the other libraries in Lake County, but I do know that some have celebrated significant anniversaries in the past couple years. Yeah. And also Cleveland Public and Cuyahoga County. I think Cuyahoga County just celebrated 150th, and Cleveland Public, I think, celebrated their 100th recently. So they were all pretty much founded right around the same time. Yeah.
My last question would be, what can you tell us about the future of the Fairport Harbor Public Library? I know you've been to some of the meetings.
I have.
About the planning for that.
Right.
Just share your vision and your dreams for the future
of
Fairport Harbor Public Library.
We're excited to be part of the project of the new school campus, and that the library is going to be a part of that. Like I said, even 100 years ago, the library was always a part of the school district and had this wonderful kind of symbiotic relationship with the school district, and we're excited that that's going to continue with the new school building, especially now that the elementary school is going to be right nearby. Having the younger children so close to the library and being able to access the materials as much as the high school and junior high kids do during the school day is very exciting to us. And we've had some concerns from our patrons that it's only going to be open to the school and it won't have that homey, old-fashioned feel. And I think a lot of that feeling of family and community isn't the building that we're in, it's the staff and the people that work here at the library, and they're not going anywhere. So we will continue to make it feel like a small hometown library, even if we have some new walls and new carpet. Yep.
Absolutely.
Has Miss Norman been here all 100 years?
She had, no. Mrs. Norman has been here almost 30 years, so she is a wonderful fixture in our library. I don't think, she's almost synonymous with Fairport Harbor Public Library, and she knows every patron by name. She knows their mother and their grandmother and their grandfather and what school they went to, and she had a lot of them in theater club back in the day when she was directing and stage managing, so she could probably tell you some stories about your parents. Yeah, I want to thank everybody for helping us celebrate our anniversary all year. We've had special events and special displays going on, and we'll continue some of those through the end of the year, even though our actual anniversary date of September 13th is now passed. We've had people come in and sign our birthday card. They've come to receptions and programs and made us feel really loved, that we've been here for 100 years and that how much they appreciate us and value the library in this community. And there's our doorbell. As you can see, even during the day, it's a busy place. And there's always something happening here. And we will continue to serve the community to the best of our ability. And that's something we really pride ourselves on, is not so much how many computers we have or what bestsellers we have, but the people that are in this building and that will be serving our community for the next 100 years.
All right, thank you. Let me tell you about the creation of the Reading Garden. It was exciting and scary and wonderful all at the same time. At the time Carrie McCrone was the director, we were granted $20,000, I believe, to create a space for children. She handed me $20,000 and said, here, go create a space. Okay. So I consulted with librarians around the state about how best to spend that money, and the universal answer was do something that people can see. Don't just put it on the shelves. So with a great deal of thought, we created the George and Helen Daly Reading Garden. The mural was done by a local artist, and he was asked to create a mural that the kids would see on their way to the library. It would repeat and reflect their lives. The collection was developed to show a larger world to them. Many of you benefited from that and enjoyed that, and it was fun. It was a good time. I also love serving the adults in this village. The adults is a big chunk of how we keep going. The senior citizens are some of my favorite people in the world. I love them. I love finding books for them to read. I love promoting the library throughout the community. I love what I do. I wish somebody had told me when I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up, that being a librarian was a job. I didn't think it was a job. I didn't think you went to college to be a librarian. It is, and it's great. There are so many places, so many things you can do. You can, adult services, children's services, archives. This is one of my best friend's daughters is an archivist in Massachusetts. This is what she does. She has handled Benjamin Franklin's original documents. How cool is that? What else can you do? You can be a cataloger. You can, it's pretty infinite. If you have an interest, there are libraries everywhere. There's a library at the Arboretum. Law firms have libraries. Every state has a state legal library and a state library. There are lots and lots of jobs in the library field. Don't discount it. Well, okay, the first teen advisory group overnight. we used to do, where's Christian? We used to do 2 of those a year, I think. One was Boxing Day, and it was to give the parents a break. I would take all of the teens and keep them here overnight. And one was in the summer, and I would make them work for it. There would be a book sale or something, and that they would put the books out for, and then they got to stay over. The very first one, there were 15 kids. They walked through that door and just kind of stood there. What do we do? Anything you want. What? Anything you want. Grab the carts and race up and down the aisles. Really? Yep. And that's what it was great. It was so much fun, and it just went from there. We had pizza, we made gingerbread houses. What else did we do? Zach climbed on things, I think. But yeah, some of them are grown now. Some of them actually work here. Christian, turn around. Some of them, Zach came in and got, when did you guys graduate?
Zach graduated in 14, I graduated in 15.
Okay. Zach came in and got library cards for his son the other day. And we were both sitting here. Whoa, Zach Januskovic just got a library card for his kid. It was very cool. It was very cool. That's what I got.
Perfect. Well, I started working here because Cathy Norman, who you probably saw earlier, was my librarian the entire time that I went to this school. And I loved everything this library did. I loved all the things that it offered. And once the job was available, I mean, what better option than working for my community and being able to work close to the people that pretty much helped raise me. A lot of them know my family. It's a very small community, so it's very tight-knit here, and it's a great opportunity to come in and, again, work with the people that helped raise me and helped build my foundation of who I kind of ended up being. So it's just a great way to give back and kind of enjoy a little bit of the past and help out my town.
Tell a story. Every day I have over 50 children come in to the library of a variety of ages and grades, and we do everything from looking at books together, to building puzzles, to helping with homework, to solving life problems, to just being a friend. Talk about the clubs. Okay. We have a couple different clubs at Fairport Harbor Public Library. We have the Anime Club that meets every month, weekly. Sorry. We have the Anime Club that meets every week on Thursday. This month we are watching Spy X Family. We tend to watch the popular animes that are school appropriate. We also have the Dungeons and Dragons Club, Pens and Swords, which we have for middle schoolers and high schoolers. We have our special tea club, which is a tea party that we have every month on the last Tuesday. That's for the high schoolers because, you know, why leave the tea parties to the little kids? What else do we have? I'm trying to think. We have our Crazy Eights Math Club for our elementary schoolers who are kind of struggling with math or really like math. We have a whole variety of kids with different relationships with math, and we play fun math games to try and help them out with their classes. We also have an art club for ages 5 and up, as well as story times that we have. So we have a lot of different activities for the students to do here, whether it is a programmed activity or a passive one. Sorry. Support your local library.
Welcome to the 100th birthday celebration of Fairport Harbor Public Library. We are honored today to have with us, sitting camera left is Carol Murdoch Miller, and sitting camera right is Jaquie Wolf, both of whom worked at this library faithfully and were movers and shakers in the library business in Lake County for many, many years. Carol, when did you start?
I started in 1985.
And you were the director, right?
I was hired as the director.
And Jaquie, you were the children's librarian at McKinley,
That's right, started in 1980.
and then they moved you over here.
Yes, it was 2 or 3 years, maybe just 2. I can't remember how many years I was at McKinley only, but then they needed me here. So I came here gradually. Sometime I was in both places, but then I ended up here full-time.
Yep, and story times were,
Wonderful. I loved it.
What days were they?
do you remember when they were?
What
They were
days?
Tuesday
Oh,
and Wednesday, I
my.
think.
Wednesday?
Wednesday, I remember.
Yeah, a lot, and some of them during the daytime, unless I'm remembering later on then, I had the babies' story time too, and that was in the morning with Mommy. Yeah, but all the story times were wonderful. We did a lot of good things. I had a special apron that had fun things come out of the pockets and that were introduced and related to the stories I was going to be telling them. Yeah, it was a great time.
It was a great time. You were the children's librarian when I came.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yes, I was the children's librarian basically the whole time then when they pulled me here, although I did do all the other library jobs too,
Right.
wherever they needed you know. And during the summer programming, we did special things during the summer for programming. Had a lot of children in here. And there should be pictures on files somewhere.
I'm sure.
There are millions of them on file, trust me. What did you change when you became the director? What did you change as the director? Do you remember? What changes did you make?
I came as a certified librarian, as a teaching librarian. So the changes that I made was to visit with the teachers and get them to bring the classes into the library so that they could have library instruction, so that they would learn how to do research and take notes and not cheat. Because I even checked their papers when they did a term paper to make sure that they hadn't pulled stuff off the computer. I was also at McKinley. I went over there and did the teaching 2 days a week. And that was the joy of my life. I loved that. I loved being with the kids. That's why when you were doing the children's stuff here, I was like, I was really happy because I figured if we got the community, we got them through the kids first, and then we got them, the parents would come with the children. So we always focused on that.
Mm-hmm.
And we picked out the best books.
Yes, did, always.
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 And we read them all.
Yes, we did. And that is one thing I do now as we come back, my husband and I, to the library religiously about every 3 weeks, and I go to the children's department and look for the brand new books, and I take home 6 or 8 of them, and that's the first thing we do when we get home is we read the children's books. I just love to see the changes. It's great.
Have there been a lot
Of changes?
in children's literature?
Yes, because the way the world is evolving and going around and the changes that we see in the communities, they're picking it up in the books.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
It's an excellent thing.
Sure.
The books now have real children, where in the past, children could look at a book and say, well, this doesn't look like me.
Yeah.
I don't talk like this. I don't act like this.
Yeah.
And now they're becoming more real, if that's possible to say it that way.
Yeah.
And they're also including, I remember the first book that came out with 2 daddies
Yeah.
and 2 mommies.
Yeah.
And that this was no longer strange. This was the norm. And we needed to speak to that for our children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's still vital. I know that I come in here and I wander everywhere and see what speaks to me. And I pull what, and then if I have a question, I ask a librarian and say, okay, I need to know about the pronouns that we're supposed to use now.
Oh, yes.
The they, them pronouns.
Yes.
I need to know about how they feel, how the kids are experiencing this acceptance of themselves as not being either or, but being themselves. And I've been reading a lot of that material because I need to know that. And I run into that in my life, and it's like, okay, and the library helps me do that.
Right.
Plus, I have these people who work here that I can ask them anything, and they will find it.
I agree. They know what books my husband and I like, the authors and so forth, and they spot one. Oh, put that in the box for the wolves because they're going to want that.
That's right, absolutely. This is the best library.
Yes,
Oh,
this
my
is
God, yes.
a small library, but very outstanding. I think it excels a lot of the libraries around here.
I agree.
You guys paid us we paid you for that one.
No, you didn't. But we talked about it. We had talked about it.
Thank you. You were here, you were both here when the big, beautiful wooden card catalog went out the back door and computers came in the front door. What did that feel like?
Well, we had one card catalog that stayed here for a long time because the people who worked here would use it because we couldn't use the computers. Okay, we were learning how to do that, but it's like if somebody said, "Oh, I want a book on baseball," we'd say, "Look in the card catalog 796.357, and we know where to go." Okay, so we did it both at the same time. While we were learning one, we relied on what we had. I did. I still do.
Still wish for it, yeah.
I just talked to whoever's on this. I need to know if we have thus and so. They'll look it up for me and tell me right away.
They are wonderful about that. I
Yeah.
like that too, yeah.
And if we can't find it here, we can always call Cleveland.
And they can get it for us.
Yes, it's
Anywhere
wonderful.
across the country, and I've had that happen.
Yeah.
It has been
Yeah.
marvelous.
Was
What's
it
your
scary?
question? Was it scary?
My question was moving to computer. Was it scary?
Oh, my God. Oh, yes. It was scary because in my previous job, they brought in computers, and I said, as the librarian, "I'm not having anything to do with them. You have a technical person to teach the kids how to do all that. I'm just here for the books and the instruction."
Good for you.
And then I came here, and I don't know how long, I don't even know when the retrospective conversion started. Whenever it started, they pulled me from McKinley. So I was no longer at McKinley.
It was 98 we went online.
I had to be here for the 2 previous years while we did that work. And it was interesting because we had a whole crew of people, all of us, were deciding if this matched that they had in their record. And close. It was close enough. We picked it, so it could get in there. And we didn't have to create a whole new record because that was above my pay grade. Somebody else needed
And
to
at
do
that
it.
time, we were sending out overdue notices to people who didn't return their books on time.
Right.
And so from hand doing it, they put me in the computer to do that part. And oh my, that was a challenge.
That's right.
That was a challenge for me because we didn't have a computer at home. And so I did the best I could. Prayed to God every time I sat down, be with me or I can't do it alone.
That's right. I think we all did that.
Yeah,
over here
yeah.
because we were fish out of water,
Mhm.
and there wasn't much training that I recall to learn how to do what we had to do. I mean, it was adequate. We did it.
Yes.
We did it. But it was scary. It was not comfortable. It was an adventure. Working here was an adventure. It was never the same one day or the next. Every single day was different. The questions would be different. The people coming in the door. I remember a student being in here, because we'd had students and then the public would come in. And this man come in and he was talking to this kid, and I said to him, "Sir, this is one of our students." He said, "I know, he's my son." And I said, "Oh my, I'm sorry." Because we didn't really want interaction with the kids. We were sort of protective of them.
Right.
I said, "Oh, sorry, didn't know that." Go ahead, talk
Yeah,
to your son.
it's still an adventure, just so you know. It's still an adventure. Do you think we're looking at another change? as we move forward, we're looking at another major change with a new building. A new building, a new school, it's all, the same symbiotic relationship will exist, but it's a big change. This space isn't gonna be no more. I had a question in here. What, if you had to give one piece of advice to cope with changes coming, what would it be?
One day at a time.
Yeah.
I just put a bumper sticker on my car that says, one day at a time. Because I find that if I'm looking back and trying to make things straighten out, or looking forward and trying to maneuver things, it doesn't work for me. But if I stay in this moment, in this day, and ask for help, ask for any kind of help that's available for me, the answers come and I know what can be done.
It's kind of like when we have a fog, you can't see too far ahead, but you can see close enough, so and eventually you'll get through. So kind of like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. We're such a family-oriented library, I think. We love to come here. And I feel like they're family members who greet us. I just hope that the community realizes what they have here and will expect the closeness that they have now. And they're not too distant from it because it's a new building. And just walking through whichever door we're going to be walking through, you're going to feel like a stranger for a while. And I don't know if you'll feel that ever again, that closeness that we have now. I hope I'm wrong.
With the people that are here, I'm sure we will. I really have a deep concern that they're not going to be able to do the kinds of things that we've all been accustomed to them
Right.
doing for us.
Right?
And that they're not going to have the space and the time to do the things that the public expects.
Yeah, that's
Because-
true.
Because we've come to expect it. You know, this
Just-
is our library, this is where I get my help,
Right.
this is where I walk in and they know me.
Right.
And they know what I like, and they're more than willing to challenge me to read something different or do something else. You know, and I really would miss that if that were not present.
But the room, like you said, we have a special children's area right now, and I'm sure the kids love it.
Yes,
That's their place.
that's right, it is their place.
Are they going to have their place?
And a teen place, and an adult space.
Right, right.
And a quiet area.
Right.
You know. I'm not sure that's going to be the case, from the limited knowledge that I have.
Yeah.
When I talked to the superintendent, I asked him to see the plans, and I saw the plans. And he said, we have to build one part of the building ourselves first and pay for it. He said, so we're going to put the building on the end of the whole complex is going to be the music room. And I said to him, why can't that be the library? Because it's at the end of the building and it's separated. And he said, no, they couldn't afford to do that. But for your information, that was my suggestion to him, that they put that library in that end building so that it would be accessible to the entire community, the public, the county. Everybody in this county sooner or later comes to Fairport.
Right.
If they know there's a library here, they
Yeah.
can get whatever they need here.
Right.
And it's easier parking. And the people were so helpful. I mean, you don't find this. I mean, I walk
No.
into libraries, and, well, lately I haven't even get into library because they don't open till God knows hours. They're not open in the morning. You know, they open mid-afternoon. It's like, so I come here. This is where I get the help I need. This is where I get the pictures of my great-granddaughter off the computer because they send them to my email. And these ladies blow them up, and I get pictures of them.
Great.
So it's
And I think if it were off like that off the end of the building, that would be away from the school. It would be there, but away from the school, and they could be their own entrance,
right.
you know, and you wouldn't even have to enter the school.
Oh, you wouldn't know, not if
No.
the public library
It
was
would
out on
just
the end
be-
of the building.
Yeah.
Well, the plans are changing on a daily basis.
Are they really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good.
It depends on what the architect, there's another planning meeting with somebody somewhere.
Are you going?
on
Oh,
yeah, I'm going.
Good.
Can we go?
No, it's a design team.
Okay.
Well, you can tell, you remember
I'll
what we've
tell 'em.
said?
Yes, ma'am. I
Well,
will tell
We got it
them.
on tape now.
We have it
The
now.
whole world knows now what I suggested, and it's like I have any influence whatsoever.
You never know.
You know what? You two are the best. You were the best when I started here a million years ago, and you remain the best. Happy birthday, Fairport Harbor Public Library. Thank you so much.
You don't want to know what we think it's going to be like in the future?
Do we have time? We're at 17 minutes.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you later.
Okay. Yeah.